Good morning. Good morning. Welcome, everyone. My name is Monique Green. I am the Guided Pathways Coordinator at Riverside City College, and I have the amazing opportunity today to talk a little bit about Riverside City College and our transformational change within our governance structure, with including the student voice into our Guided Pathways redesign. I will have my GPS ambassadors, Guided Pathways student ambassadors, introduce themselves in the following slides. So we'll go ahead and go to the next slide, Tristan, please. So like many other colleges, we really struggled with getting voluntary support of student ambassadors or student voices into our college redesign. We had a lot of challenging times of getting them into our governance structure. And so last year we decided to fund a student support group called the GPS ambassadors, where we hired a diverse group of students. So you'll see them here today in today's panel, to really infiltrate our governance structure with their voice, with their leadership, and also tie us or bridge us to also other supportive programs on campus, and also ASRCC, which is our associated student body. So a little bit about an overview of what we're going to be going over today is their student participation and their involvement, things that they've been involved in, and also the projects that they've actually designed and implemented themselves. Give them introduction. They'll talk a little bit about our Start Strong, Finish Strong grit campaign that was completely student-led, with a little bit of support and leadership from our GP committee and our GP team. We'll talk a little bit about our future plans for communication with our students. If we have time, we'll break out into breakout rooms, but given that we only have 40 minutes, we do have a few questions that we would like to pose to the group and kind of engage in a little bit of discussion around those questions. We'll have summary wrap up, and then at that time, you guys will be able to ask any questions that you may have. I will turn over the mic to our GPS ambassadors, and in the meantime, I'll put myself on mute, but I'll answer any Q&As in the chat box that comes in. So GPS ambassadors, go ahead and take it over.
Hi, you guys. I'm Jada Hines. I'm a second-year student at RCC. The clubs I have participated in RCC are Umoja, the Promise Program, and I cheered at RCC both my years. My educational goal is elementary education. I'm transferring to CBU in the fall to continue doing that. A really fun fact that everyone loves to know about me is I'm left-handed, and I love to play Sims all the time. The committees that I am assigned to are the Teaching and Learning Committee, Educational Planning and Oversight Committee, the Internship and Experimental Learning Task Force, and the Student Sublife Committee.
Hello, everyone. My name is Ramee, and I am a third-year student at Riverside City College. At my years at RCC, I have served a year as ICC rep for the Honors Club. Currently, I am a STEM peer mentor with a student caseload of 300 students. I will be transferring to SDSU this fall as an industrial organization psychology major. A fun fact about me is that I am crazy for animals. I've owned more than 18 pets so far, and I currently have one cat. I attached his photo on the top right corner. And lastly, the committees I am part of are SAS, the Student Access and Support Leadership Council, EPOC, and the Student Life Subcommittee.
Hi, everyone. My name is Karen Esparza Lopez, and for clubs and organizations I'm involved in, I serve as president of the Political Science Student Association. I'm part of the Guardian Scholars Program, Next Up, Extended Opportunity Program and Services, and the Honors Program on campus. I'm transferring to UC Berkeley spring of 2022 as a political science major. A fun fact, I'm very passionate about the child welfare advocacy. For committees, I am on Student Access and Support Leadership Council. I work on the Communications Plan, and I'm also involved in the Education Planning and Oversight Committee.
Hi, everyone. I'm Abigail Vaughn. This is my third year at RCC. The clubs I'm a part of are CalWorks and EOPS/CARE. My educational goal is I want to get into the RCC School of Nursing program, and also do the Bridge program where I get my bachelor's as well. A fun fact about me is that I have two sets of twins in my family, the oldest and the youngest, including myself. The committee assignments I'm a part of are the Governance, Effectiveness, Mission, and Quality Committee, and also the Student Life Subcommittee.
Hi, everyone. My name is Sydney Markwart. A couple of programs I'm in is CalWorks, TRIO, EOPS and care. My education goal is math and science degree and to transfer to a dental hygiene program. A fun fact about me is I have been skydiving, and the committee I sit on is the Resource Development and Administrative Services Councilship.
Hello, everyone. I'm Tristan Morales. Some councils that I'm part of is Trio, La Casa. I'm part of Student Government on my campus, Associated Students of Riverside City College, and I'm also the regional delegate for RCC. I've been at RCC for about 4 years, previously doing graphic design, and once I finished that, I went into business and marketing. Some fun facts about me is I design logos on my free time and I read Greek mythology books. And some of the committees that I sit on is governance, effectiveness, missions, and quality, and student sub-life committee.
All right, so our Start Strong, Finish Strong Great campaign. So with school being online and many students facing challenges, we wanted to motivate them throughout this semester, especially those who are first-time college students at RCC. It can be really difficult. So we started the GRIT campaign, and the overall theme of this campaign is to start strong and finish strong. It's designed to encourage and support our student body virtually, and we're doing this by creating videos and flyers with resources and tips they need to be successful, and so that they can also move through the semester with ease.
The first portion of the GRIT campaign was meant to get students excited to start their new semester, even though it was online. Due to new and returning students struggling to navigate online environment, many have lost motivation during the pandemic. So as a team, we decided to create our first GRIT campaign video where we gave students tips on how to start their semester off strong so that they can reach their goals as a successful student while taking online classes. The next slide. And here's our video that we created as a team for our first campaign.
Welcome back, Tigers. It's time for Spring 2020. I'm Jada Hines, your Guided Pathways Ambassador, and I'm here to give you 5 steps to make the best out of your online college experience.
Hey Tigers, it's Tristan here, and I'm a student ambassador for Guided Pathways. Here's one tip to help you be successful in your spring semester. Identify your goals and priorities, either from connecting with professors and peers to even setting weekly and daily goals to help you achieve what you want to accomplish during the spring semester.
Hi, my name is Sydney Marquardt, and I'm a Guided Pathways student ambassador. Another tip to make sure you are doing the best you can this semester is managing your time. Use a planner. If you don't have one, the Notion app is an online planner, and it is an amazing resource. Be sure to plan out your weeks by following the syllabus that your professors provide you.
Hey Tigers, my name is Ramee, and I'm also a student ambassador for Guided Pathways. Another great way to start this semester off strong is by taking advantage of RCC's amazing resources for their students. Be sure to meet with a counselor to create an ed plan together to help you stay on track. This can be done by making an appointment through RCC's website, and while you're there, make sure to check out tutorial services as well and other amazing services RCC offers for you to ace your classes and be successful.
Hey everyone, I'm Abigail and I'm one of your Guided Pathway student ambassadors. Transitioning to online learning has put stress on all of us, so I'm here to remind you to take care of yourself this semester. I know you will all be working hard, but don't forget to take a break and get some time for yourself. Find a routine that works for you and be sure to get enough sleep. If you are feeling overwhelmed, you can always reach out to a friend.
Hi Tigers, my name is Karen Esparza Lopez and I'm a student ambassador for Guided Pathways. Another way you can start off strong is by asking for help. Everybody needs a little help sometimes, so don't be afraid to reach out to your professors by emailing them or visit them during their office hours. And don't forget, your peers are always here to support you.
Online learning can be challenging sometimes, but you are more than capable of being a successful college student. And from one RCC Tiger to another, you've got this.
So that was the first video we made for our GRIT campaign centered on starting strong. Along with the campaign, we also made flyers centered on the tips that we gave in the video. So as you can see on our first one, we have reading our syllabuses, creating a planner, meeting with counselors. And on the second one, we have created a flyer where we put QR codes where students can simply scan it and it'll take them to the link provided where they can meet with a counselor or schedule a meeting with a mental health services. And so we thought that was really useful for students to have on a day where they just needed to scan quickly. And yeah.
I just want to say this video and the script was completely designed and developed by the students, and the marketing campaign, everything that went into this was their idea from inception all the way until carrying out, where we posted it on our social media pages, our college homepage, welcomed the students, and then we also got faculty members to make sure they posted on our Canvas shell. So it was shared widely and it became like this chant, start strong, finish strong across our campus.
Thank you, Dr. Green. So this slide, get focused, stay focused background. So this was another message we wanted to put out there for students during mid-spring semester. Tristan and I both worked on this together and we were able to put together a video and a flyer for students before midterms week and also coming back from spring break. So before midterms approached, we wanted to provide tips again and motivate students so that they can ace their exams and not feel so stressed out. We also understood that there will be students who would be taking their very first midterm exams online, and some of their exams may be proctored, which can cause a lot of anxiety. So, and there were also students who weren't able to take exams at a certain time. So we just really wanted to relieve all that stress, worry, or fear that they may have so that they were fully prepared for their midterms. And then lastly, coming back from spring break, we wanted to motivate students again and help them stay on track and get back into their normal school routine schedule and remind them that they came this far and that we will all finish the semester off strong together.
So with the flyers, I know one thing that we wanted to take into consideration was making sure that the videos were in line with the tips that we're giving them. Then as well as making sure that the flyers were in line with the previous one. So making sure the same layout was consistent, just so we have a common theme throughout every flyer and video.
Hey everyone! Midterms are approaching next week and we know that can be quite stressful, which is why we want to provide you with a midterm survival guide. Here are 6 helpful tips from some amazing RCC students to help you ace your exams next week.
The first tip is to breathe. Even though it feels like it's forever, midterms only last a week, so remember your goals and why it's important for you to stay on track. Write down your goals either on a notebook, a sticky note, or even on a flashcard and place it around your room or laptop during the week of midterms.
Set up a schedule using a planner to help you keep things organized. Notion is a great app to use that you can download on your computer or any other electronic device. Plus, it's free. Plan out your days the night before or even your entire week to avoid being overwhelmed. If there is a specific time your professor wants you to take your exam, write it down on a planner. Set an alarm. Do whatever you need to do to avoid being late or even forgetting about your exam. If you cannot take your exam during your professor's given time, please email them beforehand. Don't hold it until the night before.
We all know it can be a little hard to stay motivated on our own. A great way to remain motivated is to create a study group with your classmates. It may be easier to understand your class material, and who knows, maybe someone will bring something up that you just couldn't remember before. You can also quiz yourself as a group by making flashcards on Quizlet. Studying with classmates can be very beneficial, and you can even make new friends along the way and create a great support system.
So I know, going back to the video, I know one thing that we wanted to take into consideration as well was trying to get different perspectives. So not just with our student ambassadors, but more of within RCC. So we were able to get in contact with our student government got them participating in the videos as well as our mentors on campus. So that was one thing that that was brought up to us by our group, was pretty much seeing how we could get different perspectives of students participating in these campaigns as well.
So RCC is one of the 12 colleges that has received the Student Innovation Grant that is funded by the Foundation of Community Colleges of California. And this grant will help us assist in the implementation of guided pathways. And our student ambassadors, and with the help with Ms. Kanani Hooper and RCC grant specialists, we have found some awesome customizable mask and pen sets that will read our campaign's vision, start strong, finish strong, or each one reach one. And this upcoming month of May is Mental Health Month, so we hope to continue to give more to our students as we continue with the grant campaign. Our next message is each one reach one, that is going to be geared towards that mental health month. And our thoughts of now are to give out a movie code for each student that attends our RCC mental health workshops. And the overall goal with this is to increase the attendance of our mental health workshops overall.
So one way that we're actually marketing the campaign is we're pretty much really trying to, like Dr. Green was saying, getting the different committees on campus. So with the peer mentors, I know where Misha works with them, so we try to get in contact with them, making sure they have all the flyers and everything they may need. I get in contact with student government on campus, so I send them the flyer or the video. I'm seeing if they could post it on their Instagram. I know Dr. Green, she does an email blast, as well as with each of us, we also go to our designated program that we are involved in, and making sure that they have the information, and making sure that they're able to even send it out to every single person that's part of their program.
Hi guys, one of our final projects we've been working on for the semester is our community partnerships project. This project was originally started by one of the committees on our campus, but we are now assisting them and helping them to make a document that holds all the internships that are available for students in Riverside County. So we wanted to make this document so that when students are leaving RCC with maybe their certificate or their degrees, that they are able to get the experience they need before going into their job field that they want, that they got their degree or certificate in. This document is will be available to all students so that they can find the work experience they need while completing their goal at RCC.
Another project that we started working on at the beginning of this school year was to track all emails that students receive. Sometimes students just receive countless emails, and also sometimes students don't get the emails that are necessary. And so we just want to make sure that all students can receive all resources so that they're just available to them. So all throughout the school year, we've been tracking all emails, and with this information, we'll use it. We will collect all of the data and we'll analyze it and find a better way to make sure that all students are able to receive all of the resources that they need to be successful.
Hold on mute. So thank you, GPS ambassadors, for sharing the work that you have been involved in over the last 8 months. They were hired last November, or end of October, early November, and our institution, we wanted to make sure that we got a diverse group of students in this space. And as you can see, they vary in different levels of experience, majors, educational goals, career goals, et cetera. And so that's exactly the students that we wanted to have in this space. And so the institution, thank you RCC, was able to fund this particular student voice project outside of federal work study funds as well. And so this is one way we've been able to make sure that our students are showing up to the different meetings that they need to be a part of. They go to leadership trainings, they go to professional development opportunities. They have been an integral part of our GP redesign over the last 8 months. And we have noticed that a lot of our conversations have shifted. A lot of times we get into these spaces and we're having conversations about what we think the students need or what we think we should design for the students, and we realize that the students are in that room. And so now we have been able to recognize that they're in the room, they're in that space. And so when we start to say, well, we think students, we actually turn over the mic and say, Sydney, what do you think? Tristan, what do you think? Is this something you can take back to your individual areas and get collective buy-in or support from those students, or decisions or ideas from the student populations that you guys work with? So it's been a nice bridging of the gap of student experience in the room. And I can definitely speak on behalf of the other faculty, staff, and administrators at RCC. It's made a huge difference in the work that we're doing. Not only have we benefited from having them in this space, but just from having conversations with our GPS ambassadors, this work has also impacted them on a whole nother level that I don't even think that we thought about. And so maybe students, I know I'm kind of going to put you on the spot here because we have some time. Can you guys, maybe not all of you, but a few of you guys chime in of how this work has impacted you, maybe now and then also for the long run?
I'll go. So yeah, my experiences so far being a GPS ambassador has been very rewarding. Being able to be a voice for students and provide feedback at meetings made me feel appreciated and that my opinions and concerns matter as a student. So when I applied to this job, I didn't really know what it entailed of, just that we'd be participating in a lot of meetings, but it's really a lot more than just sitting in on meetings. We get to discuss on different ways to increase student success, and I'm really glad that I got the chance to build on my leadership skills as well. So through this job, and now I can take these skills with me at the new institution that I will be transferring to and hopefully make a difference for students there too.
Anyone else?
I really enjoyed this experience because before getting this job, I did not know how any decisions in a school was made. So being a part of these meetings with all the chairmen or the presidents or the heads of all these departments and finding out exactly how these decisions are passed down and how we get, like, maybe the decisions that students don't agree with, how we get there. And because these committees weren't having student voices, things that were happening on our campus that students were like, well, that's crazy, that's ridiculous. We're finding out like why that was happening. And now that they have student voices in their committees and in their meetings, it's become a whole lot easier for them to come up with the rules or whatever they're trying to pass in the particular committee, so that they know they have the student voice and that they're actually knowing what students are thinking.
And maybe one more. We have time for about one more. Anybody else want to jump in?
Yeah, I'll chime in.
Jump in. Oh.
Okay.
How about Karen?
I think it's been an amazing experience being able to advocate for many different equity groups, and being able to have that voice for students has been just amazing. Becoming a new leader and growing different skills, whether it was communication skills or organizational skills, and it's just been such a great experience being a student ambassador for GPS, for Guided Pathways.
One thing that we have noticed is that before, our attendance from voluntary student participation was very spotty. So we didn't always have a student in the room. And one thing that our institution has recognized is that this is a great opportunity to pay students to be in this space, because now they can spend their time, instead of having, especially during the pandemic, it's been great, instead of them having to go out and to be essential workers into the workforce, because a lot of our students do work part-time, at least 20 hours, that they can now be heavily engaged into their education, into the institution, and we're paying them at the same level wage that if they were to go and work at a grocery store or a warehouse or something that may be a little bit more physically demanding from them. And so it's kind of a two-way street here, and being able to fund these students, I think, has been vital in our work that we're doing. And I don't know how many times that I can say that, but they are amazing. And it's probably one of the best things that I can say as a GP coordinator over the last year of being involved in. And so one thing, taking some things that we've learned from this very small group is now how do we get students to be more engaged? So outside of our student workers, how do we engage the rest of the institution in some type of leadership work, as we can see that this leadership work has really boosted a lot of their confidence, their speaking skills, a lot of these soft skills that we talk about that students don't really get to learn. How do we do that in terms of experiential learning opportunities, co-curricular experiences? And so really taking away from this group some of our best practices and seeing how we can scale that up to full institution, and all students who step onto our campus is extremely important. Some of our next steps with our Student Voice project is working with our associated student body. They have lots of roles and responsibilities of making sure that the student voice is at the table. And so working with them, one reason why I feel our GPS ambassadors are so successful, I would say, in their job is that we go through a lot of training. So before I put them out into a governance structure or leadership council, I train them, or we've trained them about what that leadership council is for. What does it do? Who are the key components in that leadership council? Here are the documents that leadership council will be talking about today. What are some things as a student you can advocate for? How do you look at those questions that they're going to address in that role? And so we really have trained them to be in those spaces. And not only have we trained them to be in those spaces, we've also had conversations about faculty members. So when you have a student in that room, how do you incorporate their voice into the conversation? Because oftentimes they may be looked over before. And so now we are really having dialogue and discussion because it's been a training on both ends. So training the students how to be in that space, and also training faculty members and staff and administrators of how to incorporate the student when they're in that space. And so it's been a lot of great work. We have about 10 minutes left, 13 minutes left. And it looks like I am a gatekeeper. I'd really like to open this up to the other 18 people who are in this room. Let's have a dialogue or conversation about what's happening on your campuses. How can maybe our GPS ambassadors lend some of their voice to helping you incorporate the student voice onto your campuses? I think I said that right. So anybody who would like to speak about what your colleges are doing and how we could assist you, that'd be great.
I have a question. Can you all hear me?
Hi, Karen.
Yes,
we can hear you.
Hi, this is Karen Engelson from Victor Valley College. And first I want to just do a shout out to all the ambassadors that were online here. You all did a phenomenal job. Very impressed with your videos and with your enthusiasm. But what also got my attention was that so many of you are very involved with the committees on campus, which is a great thing. I know that many of our students struggle with that because they're an ASB and they're ambassadors and they're going to school and it seems like the committee work tends to take so we just say less priority than some of the other things they have to do, number one. Number two, I find it sometimes difficult for the students to really understand and have a full appreciation for what's going on in the committees because they kind of come in very cold and blank. So I'm curious to know what kind of preparation, what kind of support do you all get to make your appearance and your participation in the committees really valuable, not just for you, but for the campus?
Karen, I want to speak first before I let the students. One of it is funding. These students are funded. Their main role, sole responsibility is they are paid to go to committee work. So it's almost as if I mean, this is their part-time job. Their part-time job is to show up. And so they have schedules. They know exactly which meetings to go to. They actually got to choose, and then I'm going to go ahead and turn it over. So funding is critical. So if your institution can put up the funds to hire student workers who this is their sole job, that's where you're really going to get the increased participation. So I'll turn it over after that. Go ahead, student.
I'd like to add that the committees we sit in, they did an amazing job kind of introducing us into their work and having us acquainted to everyone that sits on the committee. And they're just really helpful when it comes to understanding what's on the agenda and just talking about it with us. If we have any questions during the meeting, they're really open to helping us understand what's going on and what it's about.
One thing I would add as well is the committees that we sit on are also professors we've had or just faculty we've seen and come in contact with, and committees coincide with other committees. So there's a lot of familiar faces that at first, when I first was told that we're going to be jumping on all these committees, I was definitely nervous. And then when we get into it, there's familiar faces from previous jobs I've had on campus, and then running into professors I've had, like I said. So at first it sounds intimidating, but as the space goes on, definitely familiar faces. And like Karen said, they're all very welcoming. They will elaborate on anything. On my subcommittees I sit on, I have someone that will write me like every meeting and say, did you grasp any of that? Do you need clarification? So they go above and beyond to make sure we understand as well. They're not these intimidating people like we thought.
I particularly sit on a committee that is made up mostly of professors. So for me, it was kind of seeing professors I've taken classes with before. And so it was kind of fun seeing how they see their classrooms, because my committee is how they see their classrooms and kind of what they want to do to help themselves and help their students. Another thing is that I think they were really ready for student participation. So I don't know if maybe like if a committee's not ready for or don't really want a student opinion, because I know there's probably a committee that doesn't really want that. They just want to make their decisions and move on. But if your committees are ready for student participation, it really was easy for all of us to be able to be integrated into the space, because they wanted us there and they wanted our opinion, because they were kind of tired of just passing all these things that weren't really helping the students. And they really wanted to get something that was going to help students at the end of the day.
Well, thank you all. Great, great input. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
We have a question in the chat as well from Jake. He was asking.
See how awesome they were? I was getting ready to catch the question and she caught it before me. Go ahead and read the question out, Sydney.
So he was just asking, during the process, were there any particular methods of collecting student feedback that you believe were most effective?
Before the students, before I had this idea of hiring this student group, I intentionally went out and we had a fall faculty flex, I believe it was fall 2019. And we had our very first student panel, I think maybe ever, at our faculty welcome back flex event. And in that student panel, we talked about the college redesign. We talked about be as open and honest as possible, even though, you know, this wasn't a face-to-face environment. So they're sitting on a panel, 7 students in front of 300 people in a cafeteria. A little bit intimidating. And I said, I need you guys to be as honest as possible as we ask these questions. And so we asked really serious questions about campus climate. We asked questions about in the classroom, their experiences, how they felt, things they wish their professors would have done differently. And so this was our first time really of me being in this role of asking these questions and really having the faculty members listen to the students. And from that, we then took those responses and we have like little flashcards, and we had faculty write on those survey and flashcards, are there questions that were not asked today that you really want to know the answer for? We then took those questions and we organized them by pillars. And so, you know, these questions really address pillar 1, these questions really address pillar 2. And I developed a guided pathways student survey. And this was the first time that we introduced the guided pathways redesign to our institution, to our student population. You know, a lot of things were happening behind the scenes and students really didn't really know that we were in the process of reorganizing and really creating this new environment for them. So this is the first time we put out that chancellor's video that talked about guided pathways redesign. That was like the first 5 minutes of the survey, and the last 10 minutes of the survey asked them questions. And it was these questions that the faculty members had posed that we didn't get a time to address. Based off of pulling that data, that was the first time we were able to display it in a qualitative type approach of this is what our students are saying. And we picked out a common theme. And one of the common themes that came across that student survey is that students want to feel welcome. They want to feel invited. They want this sense of belonging that we weren't providing for them. And so that actually created our theme of the year, creating a sense of belonging and inclusion for our students. And so actually that was this year, fall 20. So it took us a whole year to collect the data. We gave like opportunity drawings. And so we gave out like gifts, bookstore gift cards to the students who participated. There were 10 winners, so we gave out $1,000. And I think we ended up having almost 600 students participate in that survey. So it was a very diverse group of students that actually did the survey as well. And so that created our whole theme for the year. And so we've really been honing in on how do we create an environment that's inclusive for the students that sense of belonging. So all of our professional development efforts, our keynote speakers that we've brought in, they've all talked to this subject. They provided recommendations of in the classroom how to do this in an online environment. And so that has been our start of collecting the student voice. And so then now we have these higher GPS ambassadors. And so now GPS ambassadors, from your work, what has been some of the ways of collecting the student feedback as well over the last 8 months?
So I know for me, one thing that I really like to take consideration, especially with being involved in student government, I always go back to my student government and I actually ask them, like either the president, vice president, or even directors on like within that, and to see like there's pretty much any questions that I have that I feel that I want to get their feedback as well, because they're students as well, and I want to kind of see what they're thinking and kind of see how can that work to help better all the students on campus.
I have to go onto campus every once in a while for programs and other things. And when I came to campus after we did our first grit video, I had people like, I was famous, like, oh my gosh, you know, that like, I can't believe these videos, like it's so helpful, and thank you. So I think that just the reaction we got from the student body, just from the video, especially this time with COVID, is definitely reassuring for those students to know that we're still here for them. So I think we got great feedback going off of what we did.
Yes, so same here. As a peer mentor, I have a caseload of 300 students. So you know, when I send these videos, they see like, you know, their mentor is in the video and stuff, and I'll get like a few responses back here and they're telling me that they really appreciated it. And, you know, it helped them navigate through some things that they didn't know before, all the resources that they were able to get. It was really helpful to them and they were very appreciative.
And I think just them being, I mean, they literally have infiltrated our whole governance structure. And so they are at every committee, subcommittee. And so in the time, in the now of us having those discussions and conversations, they're in that conversation. So it's not like we have a conversation, we take it back to a student group and we come back and say, okay, this is what the students say. And then we have another conversation and we go back to this. No, like they are there, they are an integral part of the conversation, and we don't have the conversation without them. Which is something that's different now than it was 3 years ago when I first started in this role. So I know we have 2 minutes left, so I don't know if we want to take one more question or if I just want to take this opportunity to thank the GPS ambassadors for all of their work. We couldn't do it without you guys. Any last thoughts for the group? Last thoughts? All right, you guys are good then. So thank you guys so much for joining us today. Have any follow-up questions? We've had an opportunity to meet with like San Diego Mesa colleges, their team who's doing the Student Voice Project as well. And so we've had some really great discussion. I would like to see the Region 9 GP leads get together and bring all these students together to have collective student voice in the next GP Summit. So thank you all, and my email address is here if you guys have any follow-up questions for me. Have a good one.